Good morning, everybody. Please be seated. On behalf of the University, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to you to this congregation for the conferment of degrees here in the Barony Hall. Today is a very special day in our university calendar. It's a graduation day which makes it a day of celebration for our graduates, for all the family and friends, and indeed for all the staff of the university. And I can't think of a better venue in which to start that celebration than here in the Barony. In the United States, they refer to these events as commencement ceremonies, as they use them to signify the beginning of a new journey as opposed to an ending. And it is in this spirit that we also celebrate graduations at the University of Strathclyde. Now, in a few moments, it will be my privilege to cap each of our graduates as their name is called out and they come up on stage to receive their award. The capping tradition has its roots in ancient China, and it's recognised as a rite of passage and as a mark of achievement. And for each of our graduates once capped, this signifies that they are now part of a community of scholars at the University of Strathclyde. It can stretch back over 200 years to the Scottish Enlightenment, so they'll be in very good company. At the start of this morning's proceedings, we have the conferment of an honorary degree, and these are awards that are made by the university to recognise the particular contributions that individuals have made in their career. And we hear a little bit about those contributions during the conferment. At the close of graduation, we have a reception over in our Lord Todd building to which everyone is invited to come along and to celebrate. We also hope to have an academic procession, which will depend very much upon the weather. It's looking very good just now, but we'll get an update on that towards the end of this morning's proceedings. In the meantime, I do hope that you enjoy the ceremony. And when you see your loved one coming up on stage to receive her or his award, I would strongly encourage you to celebrate. These occasions do not come round very often. For many, they're once in a lifetime. So please make the most of it. I now formally declare that this congregation for the conferment of degrees is open, and I invite Professor Ian Stewart, the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, to present Professor Sheila Rowan to receive her award. Thank you.
Vice Principal, I have the honour to present to you Professor Sheila Rowan. Professor Rowan is one of the world's most eminent and highly renowned experimental physicists who works in the School of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Glasgow, where she has been Director of the Institute for Gravitational Research since 2009. Sheila is originally from Dumfries, and she received her BSc degree in 1991 and was awarded her PhD in the field of gravitational wave instrumentation from the University of Glasgow in 1995. She subsequently held research positions split between Stanford University in the United States and Glasgow University, working on developments that are necessary for the advanced gravitational wave detectors at international observatories, such as the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, LIGO, a large-scale observatory in the United States, for detecting cosmic gravitational waves and the development of their observation in astronomy. Sheila returned to a full-time position in Glasgow University in 2003 and became Professor of Experimental Physics in 2006. Gravitational research is an international endeavour, and Sheila is engaged in the full range of activities that are at the forefront of research within the international gravitational wave research community. I'd like to say something briefly about the outstanding work that Professor Rowan is renowned for in the area of gravitational research. Sheila leads a group of around 70 researchers at the Institute for Gravitational Research who are developing detectors and signal analysis methods to search for gravitational waves, both on the ground and from space. Sheila's research is targeted at developing optical materials for use in gravitational wave detectors, and her recent work has played a crucial role in one of the most exciting and significant scientific breakthroughs of this century. The first detection of gravitational waves. This resulted in a share of the 2016 Special Breakthrough Prize in Fundamental Physics for Sheila and the members of her research team. This discovery was first announced in February 2016, which was the 100th anniversary year of their prediction by Albert Einstein. This discovery of gravitational waves has also opened up an entirely new field of physical science, that of gravitational astronomy, thereby enabling the study of black holes and other exotic phenomena at the extremities of our universe. Professor Rowan now chairs the Gravitational Wave International Committee, which focuses on coordinating and shaping the global strategic landscape of gravitational wave research. Professor Rowan has received numerous awards in recognition of her groundbreaking research work. She was awarded a Leverhulme Prize for Astronomy and Astrophysics in 2005, appointed to a fellowship of the Institute of Physics in 2006, and elected to the fellowship of the Royal Society of Edinburgh in 2008. Sheila was also made an MBE for services to science in the Queen's Birthday Honours in 2011, and was awarded a fellowship of the American Physical Society in 2012. More recently, Sheila received the Hoyle Medal and Prize for the Institute of Physics in 2016, as further recognition of her pioneering research on aspects of the technology of gravitational wave observatories, and in the same year was seconded part-time as the Chief Scientific Advisor to the Scottish Government, where she ensures that scientific advice contributes to activities across the wide-ranging policy. Earlier this year, in 2018, Sheila was elected as a Fellow of the Royal Society and awarded Honorary Fellowship of the Institute of Physics. Professor Rowan also happens to be an inspirational communicator and is co-chair of the STEM, that's the Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics, advisory group for the Scottish Government. This is a cohesive and comprehensive group who look at the strategy of increasing both the proportion of women in education and the workplace and the number who rise to senior positions in universities and research institutes, government, business and industry. It is therefore with great pleasure, Vice Principal, that with the authority of Senate, I ask you to confer upon Professor Sheila Rowan the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
I create you Doctor of Science. Many congratulations and welcome to the university. Okay.
Vice Principal, ladies and gentlemen and graduands, there were some kind words a few moments ago about where my career has taken me, and it has indeed in the last few years been a rather amazing and exciting time. But in all honesty, my entire career has been based on simply following my interests. When I finished my undergraduate degree, when I was in the position that many of you are now, I had no grand plan. I didn't know where I wanted to be in 10 years' time, never mind the nearly 30 that it's taken me to be standing here. As it happens, in my next step as a young graduate, I chose to work in an area of science that rather quickly I discovered turned out to be really quite unfashionable and thought to be a bit far out there at the time. If I had followed strictly the advice of those older and wiser than me back then, I'd have chosen something else. something a lot less risky. But it was interesting, and so I followed my instinct, and I chose to study for a PhD in the rather oddball field of gravitational wave detection. And I enjoyed it tremendously, and it went well. When I finished my PhD, I was again given quite a lot of advice about what to do next. At that point, I was advised to stay where I was in Scotland, keep doing what I was doing, but I'd set my heart on a change. I wanted to get some experience somewhere else, so I'm afraid I ignored all the advice I got, which was in principle good advice, actually, and I moved to the United States for a position at Stanford University. Still in the same research area, but a leap to a new country, an empty laboratory, new people, and a different start. In that case, I left behind everything other folks thought was my best option, because for me, a move was stimulating and exciting. I loved it, and of course, because I loved it, I made it work. After a few years, there was an opportunity to apply for a junior academic position back here in Scotland, and I think you might have got the picture by now. I got a lot of advice that it was time to come back, but I felt I wasn't ready to leave California, so I stayed there for a few more years, and eventually, in fact, came back to a more senior position than that first one was. And then you heard that I was fortunate enough to work with colleagues, including folks here in Strathclyde and across the country, playing a part eventually in one of the biggest scientific discoveries of the decade. So to the graduates here today, you will do well, I have no doubt. Your studies here at Strathclyde give you a platform to do whatever you want. No one knows better than you what's right for you. As you leave here and choose what to do next, many people will give you advice about what you should do, much of it even good advice. I suggest you listen patiently to it all and then do exactly what you want to do, whether that's taking a risk or playing it safe, staying in academia, joining a company or starting your own, working for a charity, teaching the next generation to follow, or just plain taking some time out to see what to do next. Do what interests you, never be persuaded otherwise, and you'll never regret your choices. It's both an honour and a real pleasure to be here today to receive this honorary degree and to share the excitement of a graduation. I wish you and your supporters here all a marvellous day. Thank you.
Vice Principal, in the name of the University and by the authority of Senate, I present to you these students. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for research in the Department of Pure and Applied Chemistry, Mark Allison. Etienne Volcan Bouillet-Coquillard. Roisin Elizabeth Brown. Declan Bryans. Marie-Pierre Drianic. Pietro Gancitano. Alexandra Girard. Carolina Padova Frias. Olivia Innes Rutherford. Julian Vanteroo. For research in the Department of Physics, Alexander Donald Griffiths. Victoria Ann Henderson. Adam Higginson. Rachel Frances Offer. Guanglei Zhu. For the degree of Master of Science in Forensic Science, Caitlin Alexandra Airley. Anam Amin. Anthony James Aquino. Hilary Ella Arsenault. Nadia Ausgersdottir. Chris Ozens. Daniel Azobukwe Awamuku. Jason Anthony Ben. Yiska Yanni Bont. Daniel Byrne. Fabio Casali. Hannah Georgia Coughlin. Alistair David Cook. Leona Nigella da Costa. Stuart Angus MacDonald Doyle. Yulia Elmiga. Weberly Mayola Fernandez. Holly Jean Louise Fuchs. Chesia Maxine Jancola. Stephanie Green. Pakaralita Hansakunatai. Mariki Sigrid Hirschlin. Karina Anna Yonadis. Callum Charles Jones. Konstantinos Kouranos. Ross Shee Kit Kwok. Melissa Charlotte Lawson. Chunhua Chris Liang. Rebecca Lloyd. Pamela Louise McCulloch. Craig William McKinley. Jake William David McMillan. Caitlin Malone. Hopalang Janasi Mataba. Karen Fonseca Abreu Mira. Orangiye God's Gift Ogbanga. Kim Parker. Brianne Mary Potts. Amanda Christine Purcell. Katie Rademacher. Brittany Mara Reid. Felicia Rodriguez. Maria Deva Sahe Al-Silvan. Alexandra Sala. Leire San Jose Paraita. Akea Summer Selvon. Julianne Faith Six. Ife Smith. Heidi Schronfeld Sivertsen. Deepa the Jazwe. Ria Mohan Topol. Katie Watson. Johanna Elizabeth Friedkin Vellum. Christopher William Wilson. Nabili Sirish Zafar. Irene Zizi. In medicinal chemistry, Alexander Callum Carmichael. In quantitative finance, Vaishnavi Singh Ananda Kumar Thakur. George Richard Kenneth Dobson. Jataput Kraivivat. Annabelle Louise Lawson. Magnus Levistat Hall. Victoria McLean. Martin McPhail. Itivat Vichikarnchana. Murdo King Walker. Yan Yutong. In applied statistics and health sciences, Callum Dixon. Patricia Douglas. Fanny Fodor. Rosalind Charlotte Fraser. Fraser William Mitchell Laidlaw. Zoe McIntyre. Caitlin Pringle. Suhail Sajid. Kyle Rees-Salmond. In advanced physics, Alfaifi Bandar Mobari. Dalal Abdul Karim Al-Zarani. Elliot Mansfield. Harikesh Ranganath. Liam Jacob Selman. In nanoscience, Andrew William Baxter. Sabah Farhan. Joel Luke Matthews. In optical technologies, Asim Suleiman Al Nasser. Natalie Bruce. In industrial photonics, Max Johnston Gourley. In applied physics, Abdulaziz Ibrahim Al-Malki. Jalisa Gear. David Thomas Grant Harper. For the degree of Master in Science for Applied Chemistry and Chemical Engineering, David Richard McKinney. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Gabriella Rebecca Brown. Claire Ciambroni. Melissa Jane Moran. Matthew Thompson. In Mathematics, Statistics and Finance, Spas Banchev. Rhys Craig. In Physics, Gary Quinn. Michael Thomas Matthew Boyle. Kieran James Wilson. Daniel David McCall. Josh Brown. For the postgraduate diploma in forensic science, Marina Juliana Savin. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for research in the Department of Physics, Stefano Vespucci.
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, and most of all, Strathclyde University's newest graduates, it is my pleasure to once again warmly welcome you to our graduation ceremony here in the Barony Hall. Quite rightly, our graduates have been centre stage, and I would like to begin my address by congratulating all of you once again on your academic achievements. Your hard work has paid off, and this has now been recognised in front of your family, friends, and the staff who taught and supported you during your time at the university. And under the lights of this magnificent venue, we celebrate your efforts and your achievements. Well done. Now, in a short while, at the close of graduation, you may be asked to join the academic procession as this leaves the Barony Hall. This invitation actually symbolises the fact that you are no longer students, but full members of the academic community of Strathclyde, a community that numbers over 170,000 individuals. The class of 2018 is graduating at a time of considerable change in Scotland, in the UK, in Europe and internationally. And there is no doubt that challenges lie ahead for us all. However, as members of the Strathclyde family, you belong to a large, growing, worldwide community with a shared ethos of tolerance and understanding and desire to make a positive difference. I hope that the memory of today is something that will stay with you wherever you go and whatever you choose to do in life. We will keep in touch with you through our alumni team, and I would ask that you also keep in touch with us. Let us know what you are up to, what you think about what we are doing at the university, and what you would like to do to help future generations of students. As graduates of a socially progressive university, you have a competitive advantage, having been equipped with the skills, know-how and capacity to absorb knowledge, together with the ability to positively influence and shape the world around you. Nelson Mandela once said that education was the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. Do not underestimate this power or your responsibility to use it well. In Scotland, we are fortunate in having a higher education system which is internationally respected, and as a society, we are quite right to invest in it. Education broadens the mind and it creates opportunities for individuals and for society. However, education itself does not confer rights. The opportunity that education gives each of us also carries with it a responsibility to use what we have learned wisely and for the good of others. A sense of duty should come readily to graduates of this university. As Strathclyders, we only have to look to the achievements of those who have gone before us for our inspiration. To John Anderson, our founder, who established this university for the good of mankind. To the world's first oil man, James Paraffin Young. To the missionary and explorer, David Livingstone. To John Logie Baird, who did such pioneering work on the development of television. In the present day, we look to Dame Eilish Angelini, a pioneer in Scottish justice as the country's first female Solicitor General and later its first female Lord Advocate. And to Sir Tom Hunter, one of the most successful entrepreneurs in Scottish history, and a philanthropist who has used his wealth to the great benefit of others around the world. I am sure that you've been given lots of advice on how best to plan your life. Some of this advice you will rightly ignore, some may you accept, but mostly you will have to learn for yourself. Robert Louis Stevenson put it well when he said, "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant." Now, to reach this point in your lives today, each of you will have travelled a different journey. For some, the path will have been relatively smooth, but for others, this may have been more challenging. However, I am certain of one thing, that some of you might not be here without the active support of your family and friends. They have picked you up when you have been down, they have encouraged you when you have needed it, and many will be here today, proudly watching as you cross this stage with broad smiles and the odd tear in the eye. Now, they are celebrating today not just because you're almost off the payroll, although there's something in that, but because you carry with you their hopes, their wishes and confidence for a successful career. For the past half hour or so, their applause has rung in your ears as you each in turn cross the stage to receive your awards. I would now like to invite all of Strathclyde's graduates to show their appreciation for the support received from their family and friends. I touched earlier on some of the key figures who have helped to create and shape the University of Strathclyde. And you can tell a lot about the values of an organisation by looking at its roots. Strathclyde traces its lineage back to 1796, when Anderson brought it into being, the only Scottish university founded during the Age of Enlightenment and embodying the Enlightenment principles of reason, tolerance and equality. Anderson's belief in useful learning and his commitment to taking knowledge and using this for the greater good is the motivating force which gives Strathclyde University its momentum today. This can be seen in our pioneering law clinic, where our students provide support and representation to people who cannot afford legal advice. And it can be seen in our business school, named the 2016 UK Business School of the Year in the prestigious Times Higher Education Awards. It can also be seen in our Technology and Innovation Centre, which is transforming the way in which academics collaborate with business, industry and the public sector to bring global competitive advantage to Scotland. And this is a tangible sign of the university's commitment to world-class research and ensuring that outcomes have maximum benefit to society and to the economy. These represent a small sample of the many innovative projects being led by our world-class staff and students in taking new knowledge and using it to solve problems in industry, in the classroom and in the boardroom. I'm especially pleased to note that we are developing our campus to enable us to do even more. We have a new £31 million Sports, Health and Wellbeing Centre, along with a £20 million District Energy Network, both completed this year. And we have started work on a new £60 million learning and teaching facility in the heart of the campus, which will bring our total investment in our estate to over £650 million in the last 10 years. Other science faculty highlights over the year include Ceres Jenkins of Pure and Applied Chemistry, who won the Women in Innovation category of the Global Game Changers Awards. Professor Michael Heath of Mathematics and Statistics was awarded the Royal Society of Edinburgh Sir James Black Medal for his outstanding contribution to the field of fisheries science. Hannah Lithgow in Pure and Applied Chemistry was among 4 winners of the prestigious Centenary Award made by the science education charity, the Salters Institute, to celebrate its 100th anniversary. Dr. Katie Tant of Mathematics and Statistics has been awarded the prestigious UKRI Fellowship to develop new mathematical systems for fault detection in safety-critical structures, such as nuclear plants and aircraft engines. Professor Karen Falls and Professor Evia Hevia, both of Pure and Applied Chemistry, were named as Fellows of the Royal Society of Edinburgh. Dr. Francesco Arrigo of Mathematics and Statistics has been awarded a Leverhulme Fellowship to create new mathematical frameworks for the study of smart and sustainable cities. And PhD student Jason Williams of Pure and Applied Chemistry won a Bronze Award in the STEM for Britain competition held at the House of Commons. Now, these are just some of the many contributions that are being made by your staff and students from across the Faculty of Science. And Strathclyde is being increasingly recognised as a place where things happen, and this is why our graduates are so highly prized by companies and organisations looking to recruit the best talent to drive their businesses forward. Our success is in no small part due to the collective efforts, talent and commitment of our staff, the 3,200 colleagues who deliver our vision as a leading international technological university. And like me, they are very proud of your achievements. All of our students learn how to be innovative, enterprising and creative, and they make a real difference when they go out into the workplace. So wherever your career does take you, always remember that as a Strathclyde graduate, useful learning carries with it responsibilities that go beyond academic scholarship. And finally, let me offer my sincerest congratulations to you all once again on your achievements, and I hope that you enjoy the remainder of what is a very special day. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that now concludes the formal part of this morning's ceremony, which I hope you've enjoyed and that you'll take away very many happy memories of a wonderful event. I would remind you that we've got a reception over in our Lord Todd building to which everyone is invited to come along for some refreshments. I mentioned earlier that we would hope to have an academic procession. As I expected, the sun is still shining at this time of year, so we will indeed be able to have a procession over to the Lord Todd. I'll take this opportunity to invite Strathclyde University's newest graduates to join the academic procession, and if I could ask, ladies and gentlemen, for you to remain in the hall until the academic procession passes and then immediately follows over to the Lord Todd for some refreshments. I now formally declare that this congregation for the conferment of degrees is closed.